Let me get started. The topic for this evening is entrepreneurial mindset, skills and strategies for leading your own business. As I said, is leading your own business could happen either within your family firm or it could be beyond your family firm. That's the general intent behind the session. Okay, what's the agenda for the evening? I wish to discuss four broad themes. The first is, Indian family business and entrepreneurship. What's the connection? Is it really important? What's the big deal? Why are we doing all of this? And hopefully that leads to the reason why Great Lakes is running a full program on family business and entrepreneurship. And then we describe the program a little bit for you to show how some of the key challenges and opportunities that the Indian ecosystem opens up for family enterprises is being, handled through the program. And then I will invite Rishabh, who happens to be a dear student of ours at Great Lakes, who came from a family business, studied with us, and is now back in his family business and is doing quite well for himself. The way he's looking at opportunities, I think, will give us also a sense of how being in this program actually helps one when they actually go back into their families. The last is, I want you to take away from this program a few things that you can actually do. And I say this very emphatically because as a professor of entrepreneurship, I always believe that it is first the doing that gives you material for reflection. And therefore, thinking happens post-doing. So there is a thinking before doing, which is making choices. But if you really want to do reflection, you need raw material. And that is what action gives you. And therefore, we'll talk a few things that you can actually do to enhance your entrepreneurial mindset right today after this session. So what's this whole Indian family business all about? One of India's famous historians who used to teach in a top Indian business school, Professor Dwijendra Tripathi, once told me that India is filled with entrepreneurs who grow businesses, but eventually a lot of them are actually family businesses. And it brings a unique dimension to the nature of business that we run in India. Over time, this little family business that used to be run has now become a very complex organism of sorts. So if you look at this recent study from McKinsey, which surveyed just the top 300 publicly listed Indian family-owned businesses. I use these words very carefully because just imagine we pick about 300 of the publicly listed family-owned enterprises, which means there are many, many more publicly listed family-owned enterprises. Apart from this, we have a lot of family-owned businesses that are not listed. So which means we have huge potential and this population is very large. But why are these organisms or organizations become so complicated? Because you have different archetypes. You have families that run operations. So if you take a little shop, run by a family, a little corner shop, it's typically the whole family involved in running the shop. You have the dad, the mom, the children, everybody running the businesses, some doing procurement, some doing sales, etc. If you look at slightly larger businesses, then it becomes family-governed businesses, which means the family sits right at the top, making those decisions, and then we have a whole bunch of employees actually executing those decisions. And then you also have family-owned businesses where the family really just, is a passive investor of sorts. So when you have a huge collection of businesses, then the family handles it more like a portfolio of enterprises. Now, if you look at the skills that the family requires to run these different sorts of businesses, they're very, very different. If you're a family-run enterprise, the kind of skills you need is more operational optimization. You need to make day-to-day decisions on, to go to market, not go to market, should we go behind an opportunity, and so on. But the moment you become a family-governed business, it's more about resource allocation, hiring. It's about direction setting, etc. It's the strategic decisions. And then when you become a totally family-owned enterprise only, then you become more like a financial investor managing a portfolio of investments. Every enterprise is like a family firm, owned firm, becomes like an enterprise. If this is not enough to add complexity, then what also happens is when you have multiple generations trying to run the business. So, for example, if a well intentioned, good running distribution business, large distribution business exists, and a the next generation person comes in saying, you know what, we have this large data, why don't we get into something like an AI driven decision making, or can we diversify, can we go somewhere else? Typically there's resistance between the two generations, so there's a lot of tension and friction about decision making, simply because there is differences in the way we see the world, and therefore these are to be handled. And you will hear a lot of young family business owners, especially the next generation, when they go back into the enterprise, they have challenges of dealing with these. So when they go back to a senior and pitch a business idea, the reception that they get is a bit different. Why? And so all of these lead to series of questions that family business owners need to think about, reflect on, and then make decisions. But all of this is really important. Why? Because Indian family businesses contribute to about 75% of India's GDP. So there's no more asking the question, are family businesses important to India or not? And McKinsey estimates that this could go up to almost 85% by the year 2047. Therefore, there is no two questions about, or two ways about asking this, whether is it important for us to think about family-owned businesses? Yes, emphatically it is a yes. We need to do something about it. Is it just that they are very large businesses and they do this? No. FOB's return compared to non-family owned businesses in the last 10 years is almost twice, which means they're way more profitable, they're way more efficient in the way they run. The myth is that a lot of family businesses are not run professionally. Unfortunately, the truth is far from it. They are run profitably in the sense they run very efficiently when they are small, and many of these don't scale, because the moment you have to scale, you need to invest into systems, processes, people, and so on. Interestingly, if you divide all the family businesses into quartiles, the top quartile, the one that is performing the best, actually enjoys huge advantages. Something like 3 percentage point difference in revenue, the rate of growth. The economic spread is very large, which means there's huge differences in profits, and operating margins are also large. And therefore, there seems to be enough reasons why a family-owned business, especially one with a lot of aspiration and ambition, needs to think about how can they run this professionally. Now, there is a myth around that too. When you say family businesses becoming professional, usually the quick answer is let's hire some some professionals, non-family members. That's not the solution really. It's much more than that. And that leads us to a few interesting findings from a recent study. One is looking at operational and capital efficiency. How does the family business owner decide on what to invest in terms of processes, what to invest in terms of capital efficiency, and so on, right? Irrespective of how the ownership structure is concerned. Second, effective transition from one generation to the next is again key to sustaining such enterprises. Now, going back to a core strategy question, should we further the core business, or should we go to adjacencies? Now, these are questions that families have to think about, and only that decides whether you want to scale, not scale, etc. Right? The big challenge again is about attracting talent. Why should talented people come and join family businesses? Several family businesses in India have the potential to hire top graduates from top schools, but unfortunately, many of them prefer to go to professionally run companies. So how do we change this? How do we increase the trust that we have with these people? And of course, it's about governance mechanisms. It's about continued outperformance. How do you create those opportunities? Do you have examples of these? Absolutely. Look at the Piramal Healthcare Enterprise. If you looked at how they started, it was with a little investment in picking up an Indian arm of a large company, and then slowly through acquisitions and eventually through an exit, the company has really shown how you can create economic value in a society. Now, it's not just generating thousands of crores for a family in returns, which is impressive. So if you're a family business owner, companies like this are examples to look up to. But at the same time, look at the thousands and thousands of people who've been employed professionally by these companies. What's the nature of lifestyle that several of these managers have gone on to achieve? And therefore, Piramal Healthcare is an interesting example of how family-owned enterprises can actually think of scale. Think of another interesting example, Havemore. And many of you must have heard about this as well. Havemore is an interesting example, again, of a family-owned business which created a nice brand and then eventually exited this successfully. So you have enough examples of companies that have grown, exited. You also have very many examples of companies that continue to run extremely successfully. Let me give you some examples from the latest Barclays Private Client Report on India's most valuable family businesses. If you look at the top 10, and this is just an indication of what's there, right? You have several hundreds and thousands of companies in the list below, which aim to become larger, have potential for growth, and can do it. The other interesting thing which is also going on, and many of these names you would already see, and several of these are in the making. There are several other companies that are raring to go. There's changes going on. There's acquisitions, mergers, and so on and so forth. So you're going to see a very different set of names come by if you do this 10 years from now. And some of you sitting here may be aspiring to get into those lists saying, hey, we can actually scale up. We can become big. In the process, you create a lot of social value as well. You not only make yourself and your family proud, you create social capital for the rest of society, you create employment. And many of these companies have foundations through which they do social work. Interesting trend that has just recently started is many of these family businesses, not just these 10, many more, are also setting up what we call as family firm offices, which are setting aside large chunks of money to be invested either in startups or in new enterprises, creating new divisions in the family business, and so on. So there's tremendous activity going on in the family business arena in India. Related but not same is a lot of the startup ecosystem. The startup ecosystem also seems to be really hot. And I don't want to talk much about this because you know this better than me, that the last 10 years, we have truly demonstrated the potential of what Indian startups can do. I've been fortunate to see many of these startups actually, scale up, become unicorns, from the time they started off as college students setting up enterprises, and today they're all becoming large enterprises. Examples such as Ather and so on, where students a few years back coming out of institutions, wanting to grow big, and today they've also started this. All of these also provide interesting opportunities for family businesses to actually invest in these. Look at Hero Group. It's a clear family business, has tried to enter into the whole EV segment through making investments in emerging startups. Now, this is an interesting way to use family firm with wealth, which has been generated through the core business. Okay, is everything so rosy? Not at all. There are challenges that family businesses, family-owned businesses face. Look at another interesting survey. There's this report by PwC, which is done almost annually, and they find many interesting trends which are taking place in family businesses. One thing that really struck out to me is this idea of trust. When you think of family businesses, the first word that comes to you is the trust. Family businesses will never take decisions like the way a typical enterprise does. Because for a family business, the family's reputation is attached to the business. And therefore, the family will always try to take decisions keeping in mind the larger social relationship, the social networks. When you look at this very closely, you will notice why family firms don't fire suppliers that easily. They're very careful about how they deal with suppliers, even when it comes to prices. Sometimes they compromise on some things just to keep the trust going, because these are long-term trust relationships. But interestingly, as companies scale, as they want to, grow up, they face stiff resistance in gaining the trust from three big stakeholders. The first is customers. When they want to scale up, they need to go beyond the geography in which they may be known, which means you need to build a brand, you need to really do outreach, you need to build trust with your markets. The second is employees. How do you get people to work for you passionately? In a small setting, when you were in a city, you had your employees, and interestingly, if you look at many of the family businesses, they actually have people working for them for long, long years, which means they know exactly how to do this, but this excellence need to be scaled. Now, how do you scale this excellence? How do you build trust at scale? Is the next big challenge. And the third is, of course, raising capital. Some companies like Reliance and others have shown how they can do this, and others can actually build on these lessons and see how they can actually do this at a smaller scale too. Looking at all the potential, the opportunities that the market provides or presents over the next 25 years or so, and the kind of state in which our family business owners and entrepreneurial minds are, I think it's an opportune moment to have a cohort of people to actually learn and practice and put a lot of this knowledge to use in their family business. And that is where the postgraduate program in management, family business and entrepreneurship comes into being. The Great Lakes FBE program is designed to give you a curriculum that deals with many of these issues. So it's going to be a customized curriculum dealing with business successors, people who are going to have the business at the back of the mind. So through your program, you're keeping your family business as the running case. So you're going to think about it, deal with it. If you're an entrepreneur, you're going to think about what's the startup right from the day you join. Second, you're going to have a lot of people, leadership, and motivational skill development programs, and skill is going to be the focus. The reason why skill is the focus is because you don't want to just learn the knowledge, you want to actually implement it. So you're going to try to kind of test some of these either at the institute, or you will take it back to your family firms and quickly do tests. You will have immersive pedagogy, which means you learn what other family businesses across the world are doing, how you can pick some of that learning. You will have a chance to actually immerse yourself at the top European B school. I'll talk about it a little later. You'll get a chance to do networking. This is not the typical MBA program. You're going to spend a lot of time networking. You're going to meet the right people. And you're going to focus on CXOs of these businesses, the family businesses. And the last piece is also important, which is the mentorship. And I'll talk a little less about it, but maybe Rishabh can highlight how he benefited. The thing is that we have a great global faculty pool. So a lot of our faculty also come from different parts of the world. They bring in connections. They are very happy to share these connections with you. And therefore, sometimes these can also result in great networks for our students. Some of the quick highlights of the program, at least the way we are thinking about it, is these are carefully curated for next-gen family business owners. So basically, the curriculum is going to be extremely hands-on. It's going to focus on what family business owners need and entrepreneurs need, either for the core business, revamping, renewing these, or adjacent businesses. Second, general management skills. All of you eventually want to be head of your organizations. You will be the CEO of your organizations. How are you going to balance this talent management? How are you managing marketing? How are you going to think about finance, HR, etc.? What sort of competencies do you need? How do you put these teams together? How are you going to decide what's your A team going to be, and so on? Apart from this, technology is going to be a key role. Great Lakes is already known for its AI, edge in AI and analytics. So you get the benefit of learning things about how do you use data science, how do you use Gen AI, etc., to put these into businesses, because most of your businesses sit on data. The truth is, you're all sitting on data. What do you do with that data? Can you actually find opportunities from this data, and so on? We are anyway known to be a highly experiential learning-based school. All our programs are designed with life projects, mentoring by industry partners. In your case, it would be leaders from businesses. You take part in competitions and so on. And you also learn how to adopt technology by putting technology to use. Some skills you'll take away. I think the key is going to be the hard skills, structured problem solving. How do you define growth opportunities? How do you, kind of use those growth opportunities? What sort of wealth management techniques, tools? How do you, design your risk portfolio? How do you design good business plans? And then the soft skills, how do you attract good talent? How do you network and find the right strategic networks to deal with? How do you crack big deals? How do you make the investment pitches? And then, of course, global best practices. So a whole bunch of skills await you. You also have the opportunity in this program to actually attend courses at a triple accredited school. A triple accredited school is the highest that a business school can have. And IESEG in France is a triple accredited school. It's a top school, and we have a MOU with them, and our students visit them and do a bunch of courses. Two, you get a chance to actually visit some industries. So you do industry visits during that time, and the opportunity to also network with students over there. Now, I have presented some ideas. Before I continue, I'd love to stop here for a few minutes, and I will ask Rishabh to actually join in. Rishabh is a student of mine, and he came from a family business. He's now back in his family business, and he's doing well for himself. So I thought it would be nice for you to hear a live case rather than me give you a case to read and then talk about it. So thanks, Rishabh. I know I called you and asked you to join in at a short notice, but thanks, very kind of you to join in. Over to you,
Thank,
Rishabh. It's all yours.
thank you so much, sir, for giving this opportunity to me. So yeah, I'll give a short brief regarding me. So I've joined my family business when I was 18. As usual, when it comes to a family-owned business, you don't have any other option but to join the family business as early as possible. So when I was in high school, my family asked me to join the family business just to come for 2-3 hours, get to know about the business. After that, I started cultivating the habit of going it regularly. So it's been like 5 years since I've been into business. I started with the development, looking after the development of new products. To understand, I've went started from a ground level work where I have seen how the products are made, manufactured. So starting from there, I cultivated and got to know more about our products, go through it, the processes and the systems which we follow. So it took me quite a good time to learn all the processes. After that, I found out that it is very important to know more about how to grow it. So it was very disturbing and it was very frustrating to know that why we are not growing and the other people are growing. To find out this answer, I met a lot of people. They asked me that when you are running a family business, it is very important to you to know the processes, the culture, the system you follow, how you should do it. So uh, I wanted a right person to guide me. So I started studying for my CAT for GMAT 2. And then I choose the decision to go for an MBA. It was very bad decision for my family because they didn't wanted me to go and study. They thought that it might be a very break, and it was a break for them for 2 years because everything was on me. And then after I went, so it was very disturbing for them for 2 years. So when I got back after I completed my MBA, whatever I learned in my MBAs and on these classes, I tried to apply them every day. I when I got one lecture regarding ERP, digital marketing, I tried to apply them day to day basis. My first example was my digital marketing course where I learned how the website should run, what are the you how you do the audit of an website, why a website is so important, why website is called an digital asset for a company, how does it makes an impact. So the first change I started making from that is digital marketing, then ERP. Now I'm very glad that we have ERP in our company. We have do good digital team in our company, which we are doing very well. We are spending a good money on ads. Previously, digital marketing was not known to the family businesses. Still in my case, it was very hard to convince my family members that we need to give at least a small amount of money every month for the digital marketing. They were like, and really they are against that this digital thing first of all. So we face just challenges, so it's not very hard, but yeah, it takes some time. You need to be patient on this. So I try to be patient. I try to show them most like this family business is like, sir, we need to show them what the case study, the real case study which is going on the market right now currently, what ROI you will be getting. This is all about the return. You know, sir, like right now, every time they just want what ROI I'm getting. I'm spending 1 lakh, so how am I earning? Those divisions, multiplications, addition, subtraction, that happens very quickly, and you have to answer it very quickly. If you even stop for a second, you are gone. So you need to be very consistent in what you are doing. You have to explain it to all the family members. You have to justify your decisions. So it is important, and it is so little hard to go to that process, but it's not that much. It's not impossible to do it. So I'll show what we actually do. So I'll go to my website. So is my screen visible?
Yes, yes, it's very clear.
So we manufacture these products, right? So we are the manufacturer of household products. As you see, our brand name is Good Day. So we have been into this business from past 28 years. So we are the manufacturer of these products. All products are in-house. So we have this manufacturing. This is our manufacturing unit. I'll just So yeah, this is the manufacturing unit I'm talking about. This is we are based in Daman. Uh, it is 1 lakh square feet of whole manufacturing unit. We manufacture it, and we have a pan India distribution channel. We exports to 15 countries as well. Some of them are Russia, Saudi, Togo, Senegal, Nigeria, Mali. So some are these places which we do major exports business. So my role in this business is to look after the pan India market. Uh, like what is my pan India market? It's like going to the all the distributors, showing them what really we make, finding new marketplaces every day. So uh, also applying my learnings to all those making those strategies day by day, changing it, competing with most of the good brands in the market. So it's very important to learn what you are doing every day, right? So it's I as I told you, I handle pan India operations, so it's very impossible for me to stay at a single place. I really have to travel every week to a different city, different place, meeting new people, strategizing out what really we need to do to grow in terms of uh, value, volume. So a simple question I asked, right? Why we are not strategizing it? Because as sir told, it is very important to bring culture in the organizations. It is very it is the culture is not found in the family business first of all. Like it is family owned business, the head of the family will or take all the decisions. You have to value that decision. You are not allowed to speak. But right now, due to this MBA programs and this the culture is changing slowly, I would say. But yeah, it's really changing. So everyone are I really want to know that it's really important to hear everyone in the family so that you get a good idea. Make sure your the roles and responsibilities are divided quite well. But you keep all the people in loop, no problem. No, it doesn't. It don't. I've made a mistake where I just kept doing the things on my own, and I didn't involve other family members as well. So it is important to keep them in loop. What you are doing, what you are not doing, and it is fine. And in family business, it is fine to take risk and to lose it. So it is a great opportunity in the family business that you learn. You fall down very badly, and then you start growing each and every day, right? So this is the and also sir as told capital is very important. As a family owned business, we are not allowed to get money from outside because it's a legacy of of a family. Why we have to borrow money from outside? So how this family business, how we find capital, a big capital we want to go. So as all the family members, as all the traditions we have small assets which we sell, which we give it to the brokerage like that, and we get the money from banks, and then after. So this is the process which a small business family do each and every year. Even we do. So this capital we get, some of the capital we get from these things. So yeah. Also, we started celebrating small successes. It's very important, guys, to celebrate the small successes. Even though your brother, your colleagues, anyone in the organization start celebrating it, you will really find it very good that you are growing at a good pace, because a small tap on your back is very, very effective. I found it. So you really start working in a 2x manner when you really start celebrating with your team, with your people around you. So it's really very helpful. And as Raj sir also told me, just need to find small gaps. First, I tried to fill the small gaps. Even I when I went to the business, I started looking for the small gaps. I tried to fill it out. I tried to bring new people in the organization. Sir always said me, get good qualified people. So we started hiring from IIMs, SPJ, IITs. So yeah, we are doing good in that. Last year we got from Great Lakes Chennai too for my operations. Uh, Hope for this year too, maybe might come. So yeah, but small age, but good knowledge. It's what I think. So thanks to you, sir, for giving me this opportunity to bring
Wonderful.
this thing.
Always wonderful listening to you, Rishabh. And I just also wanted to check with you, like you met a lot of people at Great Lakes when you were there, and you met a lot of faculty. So how was this mentoring piece as the, I mean, if you can reflect a little bit very briefly on that, I think it will be useful for.
So, first of all, I like to say all of you that don't hesitate to go to the teachers, first of all, right? No matter what they see you as in a class, and outside class, it's very different. Your thought should be come out as soon as possible. Write it down, go to it, clarify it out. So me, I always went to Raj sir running that I have this problem, I have that problem, I need some solutions. Even I went through some solutions to mold it sometimes. So go out, talk to people, go to your friends, find out some solutions. That yeah, always do projects in group, always involve your family projects, link it with your family projects. You might get some case studies where you might feel like, yeah, it's related to my family business, this is related to this. So try to relate that, and talk to the faculties as much as you can. So I really talk each and every week to Raj sir. So he helped me a lot. I would say Raj sir and Professor D. Shiram, when it came to my marketing metrics class, I took the datas. I got to know that datas play so well. Right now, we always work on datas. As I said, we implemented ERP, so now we have bunch of data where we can play, where we can do something. Where it's really good to strategize things. So yeah, those mentoring really helped me. Go out, reach to faculties. Really, it's good. Don't be ashamed. Don't be afraid of things, because even I was a student a year ago. Even I felt the same. But it's really good. Once or twice you will feel like it, but you really have to start working on it. It's just not. I'll say, as a student mentality, it's not like on a first and a second meeting you will get something to know or a solution you'll find. It takes a lot of time to it really to even the professor should understand the process, understand your thoughts. It takes time, so don't be in a haste that in a single meeting or a second couple of meetings both of you will be good on the same page. So no, it's not like that. It takes time. You start implementing things which your professor is saying. So I did the same. What Raj sir told me, I started implementing it. We made some case studies. I made some solutions out of it. I tried to implement it. It worked. Sometimes it works, sometimes it don't work. Same happened with me. Happened with the Professor D. Shiram classes. Whatever he taught me in the marketing metrics class, although it was sixth term where we have a little time. So I tried. Even today, I mail him such things that, sir, I'm stuck in here, I'm stuck in there. What should I do? Those ROIs, how to calculate it. It really helped me to grow my e-commerce business, first of all. You have to crunch that data, how to use it, the keywords which you should use it. So some of the things, you might all know everything, but a little guidance can bring a lot on your plate. So yeah, this was my.
Thanks so much, Rishabh. That was very, very helpful.
Thank you, sir.
Let me just quickly go back and continue. So, yeah, as I think Shadu said, if you still have questions you want to ask, you want to check something, feel free to type out your questions on the chat. But I will just quickly run through a few more ideas which I want to share with you. And Rishabh's case is very straightforward. It's very recent. He's just graduated. He's gone back to his business. So I thought it's nice for you to listen. Now, the last topic that I really want to cover is what is this idea of an entrepreneurial mindset and why does a family business owner really want this? Yeah. So just a quick idea of entrepreneurship. If you go back to Peter Drucker, he said entrepreneurship is not, it's neither a science nor an art. I mean, people keep saying, is it a science or an art and so on. He said, no, it's a practice. You look at entrepreneurs, they're always action oriented. They keep trying things. And what is this thing that they are trying? Entrepreneurship is always about pursuit of opportunity. Yeah. Whether you have resources, you don't have resources today, but you're always trying to go behind opportunity. And how do you exploit these opportunities? By creation of new means and combinations. And these are really old ideas, but you need to really understand them very, very deeply to look at how to make those combinations. Yeah. And what are these practices? For example, how do you do risk assessments? How do you decide whether to go behind an opportunity, not an opportunity? The other thing that you should take away from your head is entrepreneurship is not just startups. Today, if you look at intrapreneurship programs, corporate entrepreneurship programs, look at Adobe as a company. Adobe actually has a whole bunch of engineers. Adobe actually has an internal program where they say it's called the Kickbox program. And people are actually, employees are given boxes saying, go experiment, come up with new ideas. 3M, which is a poster child of innovation, has always told its employees to do it. So come up with ideas, turn them into enterprises, new products for our organizations. Corporate entrepreneurship is thriving. Second, you look at social and sustainable enterprises. Look at all the companies that are now dealing with social problems and they've created solutions. IBM is big into this. You look at so many companies, they're all looking at social problems and turning them into sustainable enterprises. Family businesses are not far behind. So you look at all the new age businesses, look at Reliance. Reliance started Jio, it was a big startup, but it's not just that. What we miss is Reliance actually runs a little activity called Jio Gen Next in Bombay, where they actually work with startups. And across their group companies, they get startups to do proof of concepts. So constantly companies are trying to work with the startup environment, trying to be entrepreneurial. Because when you become a large enterprise, you become efficiency driven. The moment you become efficiency driven, this whole idea of how a founder thinks, how an entrepreneur thinks, takes a backseat. Now, how to keep that constantly going in your enterprise? And that requires developing an entrepreneurial mindset, not just for you, but for people in your organization. So just to give a quick definition of what entrepreneurial mindset is, we look at it as, for today's thing, just think of it as a set of beliefs and a set of skills. Yeah. To do what? To sense, act, and mobilize opportunities under uncertain conditions. Today, the world is full of uncertainty, and entrepreneurs are the people who look at world through different lenses. These lenses or ways of seeing of the world are what beliefs we carry. This is what one critical aspect of a mindset. While family businesses have a constraint that they have this whole family aspect behind them, they still have the advantage of having the family behind them. They have protection. They have the strength of resources. So they can look at the world through different ways. They can see the emerging trends more clearly. The second is you need skills for doing that. The way to act. How do I create an experiment in a family business? How do I design a new product development with an external party? How can a family business actually make an investment in a startup? Can I actually have a proof of concept in my enterprise? These are things that require the founders, the family business owners to develop a bunch of skills to actually test these or institutionalize these. Yeah. Now, for this, you need to change your thinking. So typical managerial thinking is, hey, let's look at what I want to achieve and then go back and say, here are the means, I have some resources, and so I have a predetermined goal. But just look at it, if you flip your thinking and you say, let me do effectual reasoning, then suddenly I'm looking at, hey, I'm a family business. I sit with a bunch of social capital resources. how can I use these to actually come up with new ends, new opportunities? How can I capitalize on them? And these are things that you learn in the courses. I don't want to make this a lecture trying to teach you concepts, but I just want to let you know that when you join the program, these are things that we want to deal very strongly with. But just one quick tip, because I don't want you to go this evening without taking away something which you can act on from today. And that is based on a very interesting study called the Innovator's DNA. There are 5 skills that founders are very good at. Some people do it naturally, others need practice. And especially when you want to grow it, you need practice. One is a cognitive skill, which is on your left, and all the others are behavioral skills on your right. But what's the difference between cognition and behavior? Cognition is something that happens in your head, difficult to see it, but it's happening. Whereas behavior, which is the 4 actions on your right, they can be visibly seen. Now, how do you put this to practice? Associating is how entrepreneurs connect things. So when they go out and see a new market, they actually say that, you know what, this is a new opportunity. Can I actually look at connecting this to something that I'm doing in my family business? So I start making connections that are not normal, not usual, not normal, not more usual, not usual. And then that leads to new opportunities. Yeah. Similarly, if you look at the doing part, you look at, you're constantly questioning your curiosity levels and things like that. Keep those questions going. Second, look at observations. How do you go out into the market and see behaviors that are not normal? What do they do differently? How do you set up experiments? Large companies like Facebook, every time you log in, you are part of some experiment or the other. We don't even know that we have an experiment or we are part of an experiment, but they're doing it. Why can't we do this? P&G runs experiments on new product. Everyone does experiments on new products. So if we learn the techniques of doing it, and in today's digital world, it's so easy to design and run experiments. The last is networking. Networking is not doing cold calls, trying to go to events, exchange cards, send emails, LinkedIn numbers, Facebook numbers. No. Networking has to be extremely strategic. So there are different types of networks. There are 3 levels of networks that you have to maintain, and then you have to manage your networks very, very carefully. YK Shaw, I am seeing your hand up. Just give me a second. I'll just wrap this up and then we come to your question. Yeah. So I just thought I'll give you a few tips to do this because practice can become magical over time. And therefore, I thought I'll put a few things under each of these skills. So for example, I'll start with the behaviors first because they're always more easy to see, is questioning. Can I allocate 10 minutes of my time questioning status quo? Why is my business? So when Rishabh came to my office the first time, said, I'm actually very good. My products are very good. My competitors are almost the same size, the same set of resources. Why are we not growing? I think it's like, there's something stopping us. Why can't we just ask, okay, let's dive deeper. Is it in our products? Is it in our sales processes? Is it in our, the way we go to market? Is it the strategy? What is it? At least document one new question every day. And this requires practice. This is habit creation, right? Second is observing. Spend a short time watching an action. So for example, if you're in the product of selling these B2C products, go to where your customers are actually, end customers are actually buying your products. Just like a fly on the wall, look at how purchases are done. What do people do? What do people tell? Without judgments, make notes, and you'll get beautiful insights. Now, these require habit creation, not at just your level, it's just the whole organization. Experimentation is a skill. It requires you to develop what we call as hypothesis-driven mindset. So you can actually create hypotheses based on your observation, based on your questions, based on theory, and then you run small experiments. And these are not expensive experiments. These are really small experiments. So you can actually set aside a small budget to learn from these experiments and turn these into new knowledge for your organizations. Networking, again, it requires a huge session by itself, actually. You need to, so it's not just meeting new people all the time, but those who are very different from you. So it's about thinking about how is your network structured? Is it a lot of weak ties, too many strong ties, or is it too many weak ties and very few strong ties? I think these are things to ask deeper questions about. And you also have to attend events probably outside your area of expertise, and that's where probably your new businesses are located. The last is, of course, practicing recombinations. And these require, again, skills at the cognitive level. And these are something that you can actually practice. Yeah. So I'll stop there for a second, and then a bunch of you are raising your hands. So I will go back, and I thought Rishabh raised his hand.
Yeah, so I want to give a small like trick. So as you said, you need to network a lot. So yeah, it's very important. I'll say everyone to be like, don't be much active on Instagram and Facebook, but be more active on LinkedIn rather than, because it's a very good source of networking people. It really helps me, and it will really help you too to network people from with the help of LinkedIn, right? Also, try going to events where as much as you can, try to meet new people. It Firstly, you will find it like, what should I speak? It's not always about speaking. You should listen most of the time, because it will really help you. You when you will going for an international business too, it will really help what people can think, what people are really thinking, how businesses are growing all over the world. So it's never an you will never find a good very low opportunity, but a great opportunity is everywhere. You should have the right person. Always hire the right person for the right place. In family business, we like it. Every time we don't hire people for the right, as we always say, right person at the right place, right, sir? So as sir
Yes.
gave me a small trick which said me, Rishabh, hire right people at the right place. So I did that thing, and it's really helping me. Trust me, you have to give some time to take it a pace, right? As it's a runway, you will fly, but still you need to give some thrust. So it will help you, right? Thank you. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah. Somebody called YK Shaw. You wanted to say something? Are you still there? Can you raise your hand? Then I can allow you to say speak up.
He's not in the session.
Okay, okay, he's not. Okay, there's one question while I answer. If anybody else wants to speak up, please raise your hand, and then we can enable you to quickly ask a few questions and or share your comments. In the meantime, there's one question. What can a man do who does not have a family business? Please share your opinion. Good question. As I said, this program is aimed at two different groups of people. One is people who come from the business and who don't come from a business, who want to start their own business. And therefore, most of the tools and techniques that you're learning is actually applicable for kickstarting a new business as well, right? From opportunity identification, to business model creation, to networking with VCs, pitching, etc., etc. So if you'd like to start a new business, great. If you're from a family business, you have two options. You can start new divisions for your family business, or you can renew your existing business, which is slowing down. So either ways, you have a lot to take away from this business. MV Yashit raised his hand. You like to say something? Let me see. Okay, let me allow you to speak. Can you unmute yourself? Yes. Yeah, I think we can.
Since you can type your question in the Q&A section as well.
If you're not able to, because we can't hear you, but you can still type if you can't.
Hi, sir.
Yeah,
May I
go ahead.
audible?
Yes.
Yeah, sir. Hi, sir. Nice to meet you.
Yeah.
So myself, Yashir. Uh, Hello.
Yes, go ahead, Yashit. We can hear you.
Yeah, sir. Myself, Yashir. I'm starting my business currently now. I have only one doubt, sir. So you all said just the mentorship is mandatory, right?
Yeah.
Uh, I don't even get that mentorship. So how did you find that? How it's possible to get a mentorship for the strangers?
That's a good question. So, yeah. So, good question. How do you find a mentor?
Yeah.
Yeah, finding mentors, I think Rishabh kind of hit that very well. He said it's not about just So it takes a little while to find a mentor, and I think that's where programs like these actually help you, because you get some time, time spent meeting the same faculty. So, for example, when Rishabh ended up on the campus, he was completely new to me, but he came up straight within like a couple of weeks, and he said, "You know what? I'm going to go back to my family business. I need to think about it. Can I come and talk to you?" And then we said, "Okay, let's come and just start chatting about it. Why don't you tell me more about your business?" And then we met up like, a few times. And then we said, why don't we meet up regularly to follow up? So I gave him a few tasks. And then he said, okay, I'll do the task and I come back. Because it's also important for a mentor to know that you're doing something seriously. So otherwise, what happens is a lot of people reach out and then they don't take any action. So what we said is, okay, why don't you take some action and come back? So when a person comes back taking action, I still remember he wanted to do sales volume analysis when he first came. We actually told him, go around and looking at all your salespeople and ask why they are not making the sales goals or achieving your sales goals. And then write down reasons, ask them to write down reasons, do a monthly meet. And when he did that, what we realized is that, okay, this is a boy who's going to come back to you. He's going to test things. You want to spend more time with this person. You want to think for this person, right? So a mentor becomes more wedded to the mentee when the mentee takes ownership for the mentoring as well. So the way to start this is either if you're part of some institution or if you're part of a network, please reach out to more different people. Now, every person you reach out to will not have the time, maybe because priorities are different. So it will be difficult to find a mentor very easily, but it's absolutely essential to have one, right? So I think what you said is correct, Yashit. It is necessary you need one, but I must warn you, it's not easy to get one. But this is where I think Rishabh was at an advantage because he was in Great Lakes. He got access to a whole bunch of faculty members. So through that, he built networks and so on. If you are presently starting your business, please reach out to places like the TAI or CII or somewhere.
Okay.
Reach out to local mentors. And please be also careful that when you choose your mentor, it is not just the mentor choosing you, it's also you choosing your mentor, right? So please understand whether this is the right mentor for me. Do I feel comfortable with this mentor? Do I get confidence with this mentor? Does he have the capabilities? So don't just rush into mentoring, go slow into mentoring. While the mentor is choosing you, you also choose your mentor very carefully. Try a lot of people. And then as you figure out that something is working for you, please settle with that. And I think a good mentor can make a huge difference to you and your enterprise.
Sure, sir. Definitely, sir. I will choose my mentor as soon as possible.
Yeah,
So
very good.
thank you very much. It's useful me a lot. Okay, and
Yeah,
then nice to meet you, sir.
yeah, please. All
Thank
the
you, thank
best.
you, thank you very much, sir.
Now let's see. Uh, yes, it's has 7 terms and it's covered in a year. I think I can tell you a little bit more about that. Is this course equivalent to a PG? It is just like, I think somebody is answering that question for you. So this course, so we have the regular PGPM course, which is for where people go for jobs. And then this course is being carved out as a smaller cohort. This cohort is going to focus a lot on either starting up an enterprise inside a family business or outside a family business. So will this course add value to you? Absolutely, no doubt about it, because there might be family businesses who want people who understand how family businesses work and so on and so forth. But the purpose of the program is not to get you jobs. The purpose of the program is actually to help you understand family businesses. So I wouldn't, if you're really looking at an immediate job, PGPM would be the best place to go to. But if you're very sure you want to work in family businesses and things like that, maybe it's a good idea to do this also. It can add value to the CV, no doubt about that. But I think it's important to also acknowledge that the purpose of this program is actually to be able to start new businesses or renew new businesses inside enterprises. Let me see if I can tell you a little bit more about the program so itself. Let me just take a second and come back to you on that. Any other questions which you need? in the meantime? So yeah, the 7 terms I think is modeled around our typical PGPM structure. So typically we have a 7-term structure for our PGPM program. And these are usually terms which are and this is like an accelerated postgraduate program. And therefore, when you have to finish 7 terms, it's about 6-7 weeks per term. And you have a bunch of about 4 to 5 courses that you will, or core courses that you will think about. So these, you think of these as the first few terms is to get yourself acclimatized to this. You will invariably in this course, you will also do a series of projects. So apart from your regular lessons, you will also have a bunch of projects that you do. But look at it as, periods of about 6-7 weeks where you focus on a few courses or topics. And then as you go along in the program, the courses actually build on what you do in the prior terms. Therefore, it is like, cumulative buildup of knowledge. So that's the larger approach that is the design principles behind the program. So about 6-7 terms, 6-7 weeks for a term. Every term has about 4-5 courses, and these will be like 4-5 themes that you do. And this will be designed as cumulative so that as you go later and later in the course, you have more deeper problems, more integrative courses. So initially you do more basic courses. You look at, subjects separately, like, a marketing aspect, an operational aspect, and so on. But the moment you go later in the term, you look at integrative aspects. How do you put all of this together to make decisions and so on? So that's what you'll do probably later in the program. Yeah. So that I hope answers some of your questions. Yeah. Yeah, as I said, it adds value to your CV, but the program does not direct itself to placements just like the way the typical PGPM program is. Here, it's more about trying to help you understand new businesses, creation, and things like that. That's the focus here. Anybody else who wants to ask or say something? Okay, so Shalu, do you have any more questions? I can't see any.
No, sir.
No, okay. So great meeting all of you. I'm sure each of you are raring to go. I hope this gives you a glimpse of what is in store and what can be done. Please be in touch with us. We're very happy to always meet young minds and learn from all of you. I'm sure you can reach out to Shalu and our team in admissions if you want more information. Otherwise, thanks a lot for joining in this evening. It was a great chatting with you, sharing some ideas. Thanks, Rishabh, for also being here with us, taking an hour off and spending the evening.